Hey, hi guys. All right. Welcome. Today is Wednesday with Dana with the Data, the Punkins. Yes, everybody. Hi, David says free Diddy. Yeah. Free Diddy. Protest June 19th, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 500 Pearl Street, New York. Thousands will attend. Jesus Christ says, he who is without sin cats. Yeah. Well, Diddy is a woman beater, but that does not mean that he's guilty of RICO. Two different things. But he is a woman beater, which makes him a bitch ass. However, that ain't what we're talking about today, honey. Yes, we are talking about Diddy, but we're going to be talking about his money. Guys, let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. Hi, Walter Voodoo. Hi, everybody. So, listen, please like this video and share this video. Today, we're going to be talking about Diddy still making millions of dollars while he is sitting in jail. Yes. He was making millions before he went in, and he's making millions while he's already in there. Thank you, David. So we're going to talk about that, and of course, P-Ray is going to be coming up on the show, the second half of the show, because I want to talk about this Juneteenth. J J Vouet. I don't know how you say that in Haitian, but I'm tired of people trying to co-opt and inappropriately culture appropriate Juneteenth and other Black American holidays. Yeah. She said, F Diddy free R. Kelly. Oh, honey, that's a stretch, Red Bunny. That's a slight stretch, but I get you. So we're gonna talk about Juneteenth later in the show with P Ray. We're gonna talk about the migrants because I have not mentioned, and I want to start mentioning the South Carolina women that was murdered by illegal migrants. I want to talk about that and a little other things here and there. So let's get started. Let me get my notes, honey. Yes, honey, I have my notes. Don't play with me. Don't play. All right, let me share this because I want to just dive right into the Diddy thing here. I'll do a little side by side. Let me bring it back. Yeah. No. And this is good. Oh, yeah, this is better. I like it like this. Cool. All right. So Diddy has reportedly been making $4 million monthly renting out his private jet since he's been arrested, right? So before we get into that, I do like to do a quick recap of what happened today at the Diddy trial. So apparently, actually, I can make this bigger, make me bigger, bring this over. Let's see what this look like. No, this ain't working here either. Yeah, do it like that. All right. I'm done. All right. So, who took the stand today? So, before we get into his finances, I just want to do a quick recap. So, today it was a fashion designer by the name of Brianna Bongalan. She is suing Diddy for $10 million. He got all these damn lawsuits, honey. She took the stand against Diddy today, and she testified that she bought drugs for him and Cassie. Bongolan, who also goes by the name of Banna, began her testimony Wednesday morning in the rap mogul's federal trial in New York City, and she touched on allegations introduced in her civil suit. Once again, alleging Diddy held her over the edge of a balcony and threw a knife at Cassie during the incident. In a lawsuit, Brianna said he came over to Cassie's apartment and attempted to grope her. And she says she resisted. And that's when he took her out to the balcony and held her over it. Bongolan said that she was sleeping on the couch with her ex girlfriend when Diddy stopped by. She said that she brought her ex to the bedroom to shield her from what she's anticipated was going to happen next. She says she went out to the balcony and she either lit up or she was about to light up a blunt when Diddy came out behind her, lift her up onto the railing of the balcony. She said Diddy yelled, "You know what the F you did?" But she responded she didn't, prompting Diddy to toss her against the balcony furniture. Now, I read this, I believe it was under Cassie testimony when that was brought up that he assaulted one of her friends. So, Banna has said Cassie stepped onto the balcony during that event and said to Diddy, "Did you just hang her over the balcony?" And so, Banna said Diddy left and she left too. And she ended up having a huge bruise on her left leg, back, and neck pain. Diddy denies all these allegations. Now, the prosecutors also asked Banna about her relationship with Cassie. She testified that they often took drugs. They went shopping together. Diddy gave her and Cassie numerous drugs over the years, including cocaine, marijuana, ketamine. But she also testified she didn't just use drugs with Cassie, she also purchased them for her and for Diddy. And she said Cassie always paid her back for the drugs. So this is Cassie Druggy Friend. I'm just going to do it like this. This is Cassie's druggy friend who's saying that Diddy hung her over a balcony, verbally assaulted her, caused her to have a bruise on her leg, tried to make sexually advances at her, but she was buying herself, Cassie, and Diddy drugs. They would do drugs together. Her and Cassie would do drugs together. This just sounds like a bunch of crackheads who are high acting crazy. That's what it sounds like. But she's suing him for 10 million. And I'm wondering why $10 million? Does he owe you in some type of back pay? No, because you never worked for him. Pain and suffering. So the bruise on your leg, back pain, neck pain, that's worth $10 million. So everybody is grabbing at Diddy for money, right? And he has a lot of it. So I don't like the way this shit looks. Wait a minute. Okay, I guess we could do it like this. No. Child, I'm so indecisive. I'm very much so indecisive. No. Okay. But I don't even want to do it like that. Nope. I'm gonna do it like this. Better. All right. So everybody is after Diddy and they want his money. And what I want to show is his assets, right? Because Diddy is still making a lot of money right now while he is locked up. And he's doing it via his plane. So Sean Combs is allegedly making millions of dollars. Let me make this bigger. Oh. Why they have the ads like that? Damn. All right, so Sean Combs is allegedly making millions from prison, renting out his $60 million private jet to wealthy travelers who have no idea he's the owner. And that's common to where a lot of people who have money, who are wealthy and rich, they want to rent a private jet so that they don't have to deal with commercial, right? Commercial flights. And a lot of times they do not know who the owner is. Sometimes they do if it's their friend or their business partner. For the most part, they do not. So while he is locked up, he put several of his real estate homes up for sale. He is trying to sell his private jet, but in the meantime, he's renting out his private plane. And that is what wealthy people do. They accumulate more assets than liabilities. And having a private plane with someone who has money, who's already wealthy, and they purchase a private plane or even a yacht, that is an asset because they can rent it and make money from it. So the rapper is currently facing sex trafficking, and he's in the middle of a trial, sex trafficking trial in Manhattan federal court, and he has raked in $4.1 million since his arrest in September, according to the Sun. I'm just going to go here. Diddy's jet, a Gulfstream G550, registered to his company Love Air LLC. Remember his whole Love brand? And has been used by unwitting clients at least 126 times up until May 20th of this year, racking in 150,000 miles. So the luxury operator Silver Air has been renting out the plane. Customers spend on average $32,000. The Daily Mail has contacted Silver Air and Diddy's attorneys for comment. It's a jet black long range aircraft that carries up to 14 passengers. It is opulent, right? Photographs of the jet of the Silver Air website show its classy oak colored interior with large padded couches and chairs, plenty of leg room. The jet rental could be the 55-year-old rapper's main source of income right now, as he has plugged at least $10 million into the sex trafficking charges in the courtroom. So he has about, I think, 4 or 5 lawyers, right? And you talk about investigators, interns, researchers. So he already done shelled out $10 million in legal fees. This is why the legal industry with these judges and lawyers, they make tons of money to try to keep people out of prison, right? Um, thank you. Hi, Apo. Right. So this is a picture of the jet. Interesting. This is Cassie. That's that. That's the parties. Oh, honey, how the mighty has fallen. The mighty has fallen. So it also says he previously has put his partial 60 palatial $61.5 million Los Angeles mansion on the market as he scrambles to cover the cost of assembling a daunting team of veteran attorneys. Yes, he put up his mansion, the one that got rated for $61 million. No one wants to buy it. However, he is renting it out. So he's receiving income from renting out his mansion. Now, people may rent it out to live in it, but also you can rent it out. People use it to shoot videos or podcasts or movies or television shows. So he's making money from his jet. He's making money renting out his Los Angeles mansion. 10 bedroom, 13 bath, Beverly Hills. It's been sitting on the market for 200 days. And so, yeah, so it said the first week of the music mogul sex trafficking trial saw a bombshell claims of evidence. Of course, we know Cassie, she was the first one up to be a witness to testify against him because they've been in a relationship for 10 years. So, all this money that he is now spending to preserve his wealth, right? So the reason why I wanted to talk about Diddy's money today and how he's making money while he's sitting in prison, this is technically part 1, because part 2, I'm going to do a video and hopefully I get to have a legal expert come on. Part 2 of a video that I want to do, I'm going to talk about if he is found guilty of RICO, how he and his family can be completely broke, not bankrupt, but broke. So it is very important for Diddy to actually win this case, because if he does not, he is going to die a broke man. And not only that, the trust, the money, the masters, everything is just all going to disappear. So let's go over his wealth, right? And this is a little chart here. So, alcohol. He made a lot of his money from the alcohol industry. You had Ciroc, DeLeon tequila. He sold his stake of DeLeon for $200 million back in 2024. But did you guys know that the partnership that he had with DeLeon Liquors, he was paid $1 billion for his work with the company. So between the years of 2007 to 2023, Diageo, that is the company that owns DeLeon Tequila, Diageo, paid Diddy $1 billion. But this is the same company that Diddy threw an accusation of being racist towards him. But they paid you a total of $1 billion. Now, he sold his partnership of Diageo the end of January of 2024, and they paid him $200 million for his 50% stake in DeLeon. So $1 billion from the tequila. He had Ciroc, where he generated millions of dollars as well. And that's just with the alcohol. So he actually made more money in the alcohol industry than he did in the music. Now, the music, he founded Bad Boy Records in the 90s. Of course, he had artists, B.I.G., Mace, and he's still receiving royalties from that music. He also launched Revolt TV in 2013, but he sold that in 2024 because of the trial. Fashion and lifestyle, Sean John, but that was only 3.9% of his wealth. The music and media was 10.5%. The alcohol is 21.1%, and real estate 23.7%. Cannabis industry, that's 6.6%. Now, his real estate, the Miami Beach mansion, he bought that for $14.5 million in 2003. That property is worth $30 million today. And of course, like I said, the Los Angeles mansion in Beverly Hills, he bought that in 2014 for $39 million. And the value is worth $61 million today. And of course, he has other properties in New York and New Jersey, the private jet, an art collection worth $21 million. He has a lot of luxury assets. He has a lot of real estate holdings. And he cashed out big with alcohol, right? And, art collection, all that. And I say all that to say He is a very wealthy man. And in this trying, in this, what word can I describe? I don't want to say horrendous, but I don't want to say difficult time because this is way beyond that. But the situation that he's in now, being in prison, being in jail, on trial for RICO, he is still making money. So, what lessons can we learn from this? One investment by $1 million homes, right? Diddy is a case study of how to monopolize different aspects of different industry to have a very large return. And a lot of people, they may underestimate him, but I think we could all learn from his capital gains throughout the decades beyond music, the importance of branding, the importance of sponsorships and partnering with these different corporations, and how to maintain valuable relationships, what to do and what not to do. That's a more better way to explain it. Diddy is a classic case of what to do and what not to do when you are generating a lot of success and a lot of money. Part two of this conversation is how he is going to end up losing all of his money if this man is found guilty. He will die broke. His children will grow up poor unless they make it on their own. They will no longer be wealthy. And that's very serious. So 26% of his wealth is liquid cash and everything else and other, real estate, and then the alcohol, the music, the fashion, the cannabis, and the art collection. You add all that up together and it just equals his real estate. So really a lot of his wealth did not come from music, it came from alcohol and real estate. But he used music and media to pivot and to gain more wealth throughout the decades. And if he is found guilty, all of that would disappear, even down to his masters. And that is a tragedy. That would be a tragedy. Now, I'm not sitting here trying to defend Diddy because he is a woman beater. And I don't have sympathy for women beaters. But, hi, OG Patrice. But when it comes to the law, I am witnessing abuse of power in our justice system. That is what's going on. And that is a major problem. So Diddy trajectory has shifted dramatically from his near billionaire status in 2022 to an estimate net worth of $300 to $400 million in 2025. That is still a lot of money. That is still wealth. So I don't feel sorry for him. I may feel sorry for him if he is found guilty and they would just wipe him out of everything, which they will do. And when I say they, I'm talking about record labels. They're going to take all his masters. The federal and the state is going to bust open the trust that he laid aside for his family. They're going to wipe him out. This decline is attributed to the legal troubles, the dissolution of key business partnerships, and the liquidation of valuable assets. While he still retains significant wealth, the sustainability of his financial status remains uncertain amid ongoing legal proceedings. And that is what I want to talk about in part two, which I will discuss next week. So, this is just part one. A lot of you guys already probably read the article that he made $4 million renting out his private jet since he's been arrested. We are all familiar with the alcohol partnership that he had, but looking at this chart here, I did not know that his wealth, majority of it, came from the alcohol ventures and real estate and other liquid cash and other, not from the music, and definitely not from the fashion. So you took 10% of something here with the music, 10%, and he was able to flip it 60 times. 21, 20, 20, 20, that's 60. Liquid cash, real estate, and alcohol ventures. So when you talk about a businessman and understanding business, he is a classic, perfect case study. Oh my God. I have to send P Ray the damn link. I'm so sorry, P Ray. I know I'm always forgetting something. I have to send her the link. So I'm like, where is she at? I'll go now. Sorry, P Ray. Guys, please hit the like button. Please share this video on all your social media outlets. If you would like to support the platform, you could do so via Super Chat or Cash App. Cash App is $ Dana with the data. And let me give a very, very special thank you to Stan. He sent me a lovely Cash App today. And I just want to say thank you, Stan, so much. I really appreciate you. He says, Dana, check out podcasts with Soul on Diddy. And I did. And I loved it because we have a lot of content creators that have been down outside the federal courthouse, inside that courthouse since day one. Not just Tissa Tells, not just Armand Wiggins, but a lot of content creators, independent content creators that is getting it. They're getting to the content. So shout out to everybody down there and shout out to Soul on Diddy. So if you guys type in on YouTube Soul on Diddy and the channel will pop right up. The channel will pop right up. And he got some really good stuff. And I'm actually going to go to the trial the last week of June. Thank you, Walter. Thank you, Walter. He just sent in a super chat. And Walter, you sent me one the other day. So thank you so much, Walter. And I want to say thank you to Stan, and go check out Soul on Diddy. Let me see where P Ray is. Give me a second, guys. I meant to send this to her earlier. I'm so sorry. Okay. She's probably logging on. Yeah. What's this? I am light skinned FBA Indian. I don't date white back women, aka black women. I love and date Latinas. Okay, honey. You first of all, you sound weird just by even saying that out loud. Don't nobody care. And black women, every black woman is not wide back. Sorry. All right, P Ray, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am. Here I am.
Where's your headphones at, honey?
They got broke. I was just telling my friend that I'm like, oh my gosh, she's gonna cuss at me because she told me 3 times bring your headphones, and then the piece got broke because they were Dollar General ones.
Why you just don't go and get you some proper ones?
Um, One step at a time.
One
I
step,
have,
$10.
I know I have them. They just got broke on the way here.
No,
So
I mean, and you gotta press mute. You gotta press mute. Yeah. Girl, go to the Apple store. Go on Amazon. Go on Amazon and just purchase you some good quality headphones to plug into your phone. It's no excuse. Why you getting headphones at Dollar General? No, 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 no. And you in media.
that's honestly why I don't create content like I should, because I don't have the proper mics. And I'm like, I can't be on here with bogus mics. So sorry for this, especially because I'm in a big space and it's an echo. But we here and I'm ready to talk about what we came to talk about.
All right, give me a second. 1 second. Mm, mm, mm. Here we go.
You see, I got a haircut, girl. I use this keratin conditioner that I've seen the Facebook ad, and it just ate my hair up. And now I got this little James Brown haircut. But the Lord is gonna grow my hair back.
Why did you do the keratin? Why did you do it yourself?
I was looking at this advertisement, and they made it look so simple, and I'm like, I could do that. And no, I could not do that. So I had to cut it all off and start over. But it's cool because it's summertime, so I got a little Betty Boop haircut. I'm gonna call it Betty Boop and not James Brown.
No, it don't look bad.
Oh, thank
Um,
you.
yeah, but I that's the you gotta get the headphones. You have to get the headphones, like, because it's too much of the sound. The audio is everything when it comes to whether you pre-recording or whether you live stream. The audio has to be tight. The audio has to be good. So anyway, this Juneteenth Juvenet. I guess that's how you pronounce it.
Jouvert.
Okay. Juver.
Yes.
Whatever the hell, why, whatever the hell it is, I don't understand why did they this is what I'm talking about when it comes to cultural appropriation. So let me just read this here, right? So Juneteenth is an African American milestone, but it is starting to lose its question is it starting to lose its cultural focus? Is the celebration being overshadowed, shared, or co opted, and by whom? This is a perfect example. So, just a little quick background on the Juneteenth. June 19th, 1865, Galveston, Texas, emancipation of enslaved Black Americans. Its role in African American history and culture is very important. It became a federal holiday about 3 years ago, and this was under the Biden administration. And so it's really was a Texas holiday because it was a Juneteenth when the Union soldiers went into Galveston, Texas, and say, "Hey, slaves, you are free," right? But now it seemed like we have a whole bunch of Caribbeans who are trying to cultural appropriate this holiday and turn it into their own. And that is a problem because is it cultural is it cultural co-opting versus cultural appreciation and inclusion? Those are two different things. And you cannot sit up here and say that you are trying to appreciate our culture when you are renaming it, and it has nothing to do with Haitian or Juve or nothing like that. It has nothing to do with Pan-Africanism. It has nothing to do with Africa. It has to do with America, the American flag. So what are your thoughts on this?
So this is why, again, delineation is extremely important. Honestly, they see themselves as Black Americans, and so they are celebrating their version of being a Black American, and that's not okay. This is why, again, P. Ray talks about the Negro and the Negro period. If Juneteenth was properly promoted as a Negro holiday and not a Pan African or a Black holiday, we wouldn't be running into this. You like this weekend or the same weekend as Juneteenth is Puerto Rican Independence Day. You don't see the Mexicans out there with the Puerto Ricans on Puerto Rican Independence Day because they understand that although they are all Hispanic, everybody has their own ethnicity. So it's up to us to make sure that we are pushing ethnicity over race over and over and over again. And it can't be in a way that's divisive because I know that a lot of times, especially in these Twitter spaces, people be like, yeah, y'all ain't nothing. And we did. No, you don't have to do that. Just tell them like, yo, you are Caribbean. We are Negro. This is our Negro holiday. The colors are red, black, and blue. I'm sorry, not red, black, and blue. Red, blue, and white. Excuse me. The colors are red, blue, and white. We're about to, eat watermelon and turkey tips or whatever it is we're gonna eat on this day. This is not a moment for jerk chicken and peas and rice. But we got to do that work. We also, because y'all know I'm always trying to say that we need to grant people grace, we got to understand that this is new for a lot of people. So up here in Chicago, where I am, on the west side, we've been celebrating Juneteenth for years. I think this is like our 16th year doing it, something like that. Shout out, rest in peace to Ricky Brown, who got this going for us. But we have kind of worked out those kinks. So, for instance, for our Juneteenth celebration that we're having on the West Side, it's going to be a week-long celebration. On the first day, it's a Ghana Day, and they want to do like an African Day and all this kind of stuff. So when the committee was talking, they were like, yo, this is the day for Negroes. Why are we celebrating the Ghanaians? And people were like, well, our story begins in Africa, and that's why we want to start off with Africa. But these were the elders saying this. So again, we have to make sure that we are educating our people. We have to know and understand that our story involves Africa, but it is not rooted in Africa. A lot of us were already here. A lot of people say like, oh, we can look at our language and all these different things and see that we're a mixed breed of people. But I'll say this, the Negroes eat cornbread and the Mexicans don't. And we are all North American people. So that shows even in a way that our ethnicity is very specified even on this continent. But we have to make sure that we are getting this out. But at the same time, in the same breath, when Juneteenth became a federal holiday, it took it from us and gave it to everybody else. So as it gets pushed into the mainstream, we got the responsibility to make sure that it's being promoted and taught properly. That's it. I mean, we can't make them take down that flyer. We can't make them not do it. We can scream, we can yell, we can text, we can do whatever. But until we educate the people, it's on us, I think.
Yeah. And let me say this. Give me a second. Okay. So also author on Twitter said, yeah, let's not forget this. The Caribbean saw this as a cultural appropriation. If this is off the table, Juneteenth is off the table. It's not a one-way street. Jordan says sorry, agrees to rename it. So I remember Nicki Minaj came for Michael B. Jordan because he was promoting an alcohol called Juvier, however you pronounce it. And Nicki Minaj and a whole bunch of other Caribbean people came for him saying, oh, that is not your culture. You have nothing to do with that. That's so disrespectful. And this is the commercial for that. I would show the commercial, but no, it's too raunchy. So it just said inside Nicki Minaj's cultural appropriation dispute with Michael B. Jordan. He was confronted by Nicki Minaj on social media after it was revealed he was launching a new rum brand called Juve. And so again, it's like, okay, you sit up here and you have a problem when we acknowledge it, and make no mistake about it, Michael B. Jordan did not culture appropriate. If anything, he created a rum and he gave homage to where it came from, the Caribbean. But he received a lot of backlash. But when it comes to us, people just think that they could just capitalize off of Black American suffering. Along, not just from mute up for a second, not just from this flyer from this year, because they were selling tickets, and I believe that they did take down that event. But it was a couple years ago when you had a lot of Pan African, whether they were Caribbean or Africans or just Black Americans who were Pan African and Pan Africans who were selling a lot of Juneteenth merchandise, but the colors were yellow and red and green or what have you, Pan African colors, and that is not Juneteenth colors. So this was the person promoting it. It says unity, peace, strength, freedom. Saturday, June 14th, 10 to 3 p.m. And then they have this video. This has nothing to do with freeing of the slaves in Galveston, Texas, in June 19th of 1865. So, it has nothing to do with our history. So I just think that was just utterly disrespect there.
So again, when we have these foreign Black people who come into the country, they believe that they are immigrating into an ethnicity. Now, they get to hold on to their ethnicity, but they get to immigrate and acculturate themselves into ours. We got to remember that all of this raunchy, booty shaking, hypersexuality that's been pushed into Black American culture, into Negro culture, came from the Caribbean. And we got the proof with Uncle Luke and how he ruined hip hop. So we know that they are on the islands naked, shaking their ass, shaking their booties, hypersexualized. This is how they celebrate. And they are celebrating in their cultural way, a cultural holiday that belongs to us. So it's up to us to tell them, hey, we don't do Juneteenth twerks. We're not here to slap people booty on Juneteenth. This is a dignified holiday for the ancestors, for us to celebrate in our own country. But they don't know no better. And until, again, we teach them, until we really, really, really get them to understand, there's absolutely nothing that we can do about it. Nothing at all. Because even white people, let's not talk about white people. Let's talk about my girl, Candace Owens. Shout out to Candace. So Candace went on a white podcast, and Candace said on that show that Juneteenth was stupid and ghetto. And I'm like, damn, Candace, what's that about? But then I remember that Candace identifies as a Caribbean and says that her family is from the U.S. Virgin Islands. But then she always likes to throw in this grandfather from North Carolina. Candace is, and for lack of a better word, a tether. She does not understand the value and the worth of Juneteenth. So it's easy for her as a foreigner to call it stupid and ghetto, because if she was really standing on her North Carolina heritage and lineage that she loves to claim, she would know how important it is. So we are dealing with a group of very ignorant people, and we gotta grant them grace and teach them better, or stay mad. Nothing more, nothing less. Even was working with my Donnie, because President Trump was actually going to make Juneteenth a federal holiday. It was going to happen whether or not it was him or Jim Crow Joe. But we have to do the work behind that. And I know people will say oh, the Negro always has to do this work. But at this time, we really got to do the work to educate the people. If not, this is going to turn into another Freaknik. It's going to turn into a weekend of debauchery, and it's going to make our people look bad. It's going to insult the ancestors. It's going to taint our lineage, taint our history, and we deserve better than that. This is why delineation is so important, and we gotta really stand on delineation business, because Juneteenth is one of the many holidays that we can have. For instance, Memorial Day is the first Negro holiday. But because Memorial Day was nationalized before we let the foreigners in, they didn't get an opportunity to come in and taint it with all that ratchery. So that's a true American holiday. We got to work to make Juneteenth a true American holiday and not a celebration of the ratchery that's associated with Black culture.
All right, so I want to move on to this. Let's see. So this is your mayor here, Mayor Brandon Johnson. So I want to stay on this Black immigrants topic for a sec.
Hello, I am Mayor.
See, the fact that I'm saying that makes it problematic because before they could say it was racist or xenophobic. So now Brandon is trying to make the migrant issue or the immigrant face a black face with the hope that black people will say, well, we all together, y'all just our cousins from overseas, and we're gonna stick together and we're gonna fight ICE together. And we're not. We are in an environment right now where delineation is the message across the board, not just online, but everybody. Kamala really messed it up for them. Kamala took it way too far, trying to lie and pretend that she's a black woman. And now black people are starting to gatekeep us better. So that's his goal, I believe. And I knew this was coming when he started saying, immigration is going to hurt black families too. It's going to hurt black Chicago too. And we're like, our people are from Mississippi and Arkansas and Louisiana. What are they going to deport us back to? Chula? Like, there's nowhere for us to go. But that's going to be their next play moving forward, to try to make it seem like a black issue so that they can use Negro political capital in order to advance others, which is what the progressives and the Democrats have always done.
So is there any funding, public policy set aside that he's putting aside for this Africa Day? There's always got to be some money attached to it.
I'm sure there was some money attached to it through the DCASE, which is the Department of Cultural Arts, Department of Cultural Arts, something in exploration, but it's DCASE. So they are the ones who give out the money for these types of things. So I'm sure they got some bread. I'm sure that, there were some contracts pushed to the side because, as you said, this is how that works. This is why Mark Carter talks about it all the time with the Office of New Americans, because that office specifically has set-asides, grants, programs, and assistance for illegal people or immigrants, which block us out. So again, now when black people like me say, wait a minute, the Office of New Americans don't help black folks, he can say, wait a minute, I just had Africa Day and I gave all this stuff to the Africans and they're black people. So how are you all saying that this is not hurting black people, as if we're too stupid to realize that we're not the same people? So shout out to everybody that's really pushing this delineation conversation. We are doing our part to not only save our tribe, but to save our country, because the fact that we are standing on the flag and the bones and blood of our ancestors is really slowing down this immigration fight in a way that we don't even truly understand it. But we went in, and we went in hard, and now we see that the...
Oh, what happened? Somebody...
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. You can hear me?
Dana?
Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yeah, go out.
Hello?
And come back in. Go out.
Hello?
All right, not
Hello?
Can you hear me? Yeah, go out and come back. Yeah, if somebody calls you, it knocks you right out. Yeah, can you?
I'm back. Yeah, somebody was calling me. But yeah, so we gotta, as we move forward, the play is to make the immigration issue black in order to diminish the real life, for lack of a better word, value or utility of the movement that we've been pushing for the past 3 years. I'm telling you, that's what they're going to start doing, bringing out more and more blacks to say, oh no, black people are with this immigration. And see, these are black people who are benefiting from it, because we've already made it clear that the Negro benefits the least anytime the border is open. But now you don't have to use a Negro to show a black person. You can go get a Ugandan and put them in front of the camera, and they're going to be honey cocoa brown just like me. And they're going to stand there and they're going to say, hey, we support immigration. It's all a farce.
Well, I want to move on to this. Where is it? Oh, it's right here. All right, let me play this here.
Larisha Thompson was working 2 jobs to give her daughters, who are 12 and 20 years old, a good life.
She made a way for them to do and be able to do whatever, whenever. She, was their best friends, you know, talk to them all day long.
Tiffany Thompson now has to care for those girls. It's a promise she made to her sister, Lisha.
I haven't slept. I haven't ate. I just feel sick to my stomach.
Lisha, known to family as Sherelle, was on her way out for bowling with friends on May 2nd, but she never made it. Family found her shot dead at the wheel of her car on the side of the road.
There's a lot on all of us. We numb, we angry. Like I said, we sad.
Deputies arrested 3 adults and 3 teens, ages 13 to 21, for Lisha's murder. The sheriff says none of the suspects are in the country legally.
I just gotta pray for them. Like, I can't be angry. I'm not angry at them. I'm angry that they didn't leave her alone.
Detectives say the 6 suspects also broke into this convenience store 2 days before they were accused of killing Lisha at random. The store owner says the suspects tried to get in by shooting up this door, but they couldn't get in. So they shot up the back camera, but missed the front one. And deputies were able to use surveillance pictures from that to catch up with them. Investigators say the gun in the attempted break-in at the store belonged to Asiel Amenarez Torres Chirinos and was the same gun used to kill Lisha.
I just want Sherelle back. I just want my sister back.
Tiffany is staying strong, praying she'll be able to raise her nieces like their mother would.
So that is it's a problem. And you know what? It did not get national attention like it should have. And I'm not going to sit up here and say it didn't because she's black, but I think that's probably why. You know,
Dana, you heard her sister? Her sister just said, I'm not mad at them. That's the problem. We have forgotten how to get mad. We have forgotten how to get pissed off. Unless white folks tell us to get pissed off, then we're going to get pissed. Then we're going to get behind these non-for-profits. Then we're going to start screaming and rah-rah. But the fact that her own sister is not trying to seek vengeance for her murder is a problem. That's problem number 1. But beyond that, the fact that they were down there hunting this woman, because I read the articles about it, and when they killed her, they said this is just the beginning. What does that mean? Are they going to start hunting black women all around the country? This woman was driving her own car, minding her own business, following all the laws in the country of her ancestors. And a group of foreigners decided to hunt her down and shoot her for fun. We got to stand on this, y'all, as the Negro people. Now, this is something else for us to get angry about and not target. Target ain't killed not an Negro in the United States of America, but 6 illegals just killed a woman down south, minding her business. This is why we have to push as hard as we can for these people to get out of here. I said, if you call them, they coming. Again, friends, that number is 866 DHS2ICE, 866-347-2423. See something, say something, because the life you save might be your own. This is not a game. She's not the first person to get killed. Let me tell you about this. So this past weekend in Chicago, you know, it's prom season. So all the babies are outside. The babies decided that they were going to have an after prom party in the parking lot of St. Sabina, which is where Father Flager is, the white preacher that's always talking. However, the kids are out there, they're having a good time, dancing in their dresses and suits, doing their little TikToks or whatever. Somebody came by and just sprayed up the whole crowd, shot 7 kids. 7 minding their own business. And instead of the people saying the shooter was the problem, they said, let this be a wake-up call to the children not to attend group events. Hell no. The wake-up call is to the person who shot them, and no Negro went out there and shot them kids on prom. That's not what we do. And 2 years ago, during a Juneteenth event out in Willowbrook, which is in the southwest suburbs, somebody came, was standing 200 feet from the crowd and sprayed down that crowd too. I think 10 people got shot. So there's somebody, we don't know who, because they can never find these shooters, even though we're the most surveilled city in the United States of America, the second most surveilled city in the world after London, they can't figure out who's doing these mass shootings in the city of Chicago. And we know who's doing it based on what just happened to Sherelle down south. They gotta go, y'all. They gotta go. They have to go. They have to go. Please make your phone calls as often as possible because they have literally come here not to assimilate and integrate into the society, but to take what you have because they feel like you don't deserve it. They feel like we don't take care of our neighborhoods. We're not taking advantage of the milk and honey in America, and therefore we don't need to be here because they are coming from Negro-phobic cultures all around the world. We do not have any allies who are coming across that border to help advance Negro America. No, ma'am. So again, get all of this black is black out of your head. No, we are our own ethnicity. Excuse me. And if we were to say we had an ally, the only ally that we got in this country is the white American, period. And I'm talking about the ones who were here before. I'm sorry.
Mute up for a second.
Mm-hmm.
No, we don't have any allies. White, Hispanic, Asian. No, we don't. No. And it's not even about allies. It's really about your community, black community, especially if it's predominantly black, getting together and doing what you have to do to protect and progress your community in the right direction. But we don't have any allies.
Well, so when I say allies, when I go and I talk to these audiences in downstate Illinois is super duper country, okay? Chicago's more urban. I go and I talk to them. And one thing that I tell them is that, number one, I'm not coming down here to move in y'all neighborhoods. Our goal is not to come down here for me to get a map and bring the people to where y'all at. At the end of the day, this open border results in our boys selling heroin and your boys using heroin, and then we got dead kids on both sides with crying mamas. So that's what I mean, that these are our allies, because these are the people who are dealing with the effects of this open border just like we are, but in a different way. And they don't have that sentiment towards the illegals because the people in Southern Illinois, they've been here just as long as us. You know, my grandmother is a mixed woman from Carbondale, Illinois. So I know at least white folks was down in the state of Illinois in 1928. And these were not illegals or these were not immigrants. So we are fighting for the same country. We fighting for the same land. We fighting for the same flag. But just know that you are not going to get any ally who's coming across the border legally or illegally, because they're not coming to assimilate. They're coming to devour your American sweet potato pie. They don't even want no apple pie. They didn't put them in the white communities. They brought them to us so that we could suffer and they could take what we have because they don't think that we're entitled to it in our own country, which again is why we gotta stand on our business and let people know that the United States of America is a Negro country as well. There are 40 million of us in this country.
All right, hold on. Mute up. So what I was going to say is, damn, I fucking just forgot right now. Give me a second. Why haven't Trump or anyone in his administration, Tom Homan, mentioned this case? They mention other cases. They use other cases, you know, as one of their examples of the problems with the illegals and the criminals. Why haven't they mentioned this? They should.
Because the Negroes who are in there obviously aren't talking about it. I mean, when I think about like how I was with the campaign and, you know, just being around them, white folks are in these spaces advocating for white folks. However, Black folks in this space, we are advocating for people to get out of prison. We're advocating for people to get out of prison. We advocate for people to get out of prison. We advocating for people to get out of prison. That's all they want to talk to the president about when it comes to talking about Black America. And I told them, I ain't never been to jail. My mom ain't been to jail. My daddy ain't been to jail. We don't know nothing about the criminal justice system, but we got real Negro issues that must be addressed. But it seems like they have couched all of our issues within the criminal justice system. And I just don't necessarily think that that's the right thing to do. Again, because a lot of us, the majority of us will never have that experience, but we got to make sure that the people who are close to the president are talking about more things than getting people out of jail.
Yeah, well, it's unfortunate, and something definitely needs to be done on the state level and the federal level in all cases, black women, black men, white, whoever. These type of situations, when these horrific crimes are being done against American peoples by illegals, need to be talked about. So, and we need to talk about it more. And next time, Megan Kelly talked about it, great. And when I come across stories like this, I'm gonna make sure I get on it right away. It has to be put out there to keep the pressure on this administration, and Tom Homan and everybody else to clean up these illegal criminals. So yeah, unfortunate situation for her and her family. And I think we should get mad, but get mad with a purpose and do something about it. Another thing I want to bring up, real quick, guys, please hit the like button and please share this video. Last thing that I want to talk about here. One second. What is this? Okay. Okay, so Job Corps is shutting down, right? And I have a problem with that because I do know it's majority of the people that attend Job Corps are young black youth, right? And it's very important. A lot of these kids come from broken homes, they are homeless or troubled kids, and it gives them a sense of purpose, focusedness and discipline. So I want to play this clip here and talk about it.
In that building, who depend on that building, that don't have nobody. Plenty of kids that don't have a parent or nobody in their family like me.
Nolan says she had to pick up her daughter from Job Corps without any notification from an official at the facility. She says the most painful part, never being allowed to help her child with her belongings.
To watch my baby bring all her belongings down with 4 other students who were residents here was heartbreaking. They done created a domino effect. Them kids in there, that aggression gonna come out some way, and all aggression don't come out in a helpful.
I just wanna ball, mama, I just want it all. I don't care about the law. I got something.
They had us go to the wreck at about 1:30, and they broke the news to us, and they had us go to the dorms, pack our stuff.
The staff on site would not say a word to us, but sources tell us it was shut down after recent cuts at the Department of Labor, which oversees the program.
I didn't want him to be a statistic, so I wanted him to be focused and get his education.
16-year-old Carlton Davis lived here, and his mom recently lost their house, and there's more.
I have breast cancer surgery next week, so now I'm debating having my surgery canceled so I can make sure my son is okay.
I'm livid. I am livid. I cannot believe this.
Community activist Pastor Mo trying to help out here after getting calls from frantic mothers. He's worried about the short and long-term solutions for these kids.
The ones who are trying to get it right. This is why I'm so pissed off. These are not kids are in a youth home who got caught in a crime. These are kids who are trying to avoid getting caught in a crime.
Boy, ain't no way, boy. Ain't no fucking way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy. Ain't no fucking way.
Have a parent or nobody in their family like me.
Yeah, so and this apparently this is in Detroit, and there are a lot of federal cuts. And we don't understand sometimes that that's a trickle down effect. Now I know Doge, they uncovered a lot of money that was being wasted, and I get that. But it seemed like they're just drastically slashing probably 80% of budgets, right? Across different federal departments. And that's a trickle down effect to this. The bottom line is this: kids in these Job Corps, who were homeless, who come from horrible home environments, and they want to make something of themselves, they're going to be homeless again. They're going to go back on the street or end up, doing crime and end up in prison. So this is a problem to close down Job Corps, particularly in communities that need it the most.
So P-Ray is a numbers lady. P-Ray, BS finance. Let's talk about some money. First things first is that it costs $155,000 per pupil at Job Corps. The children, if they graduated, they had a graduation rate of, I believe, about 31%. If they did get through Job Corps, they were going to get $17,000 jobs. So on that level, it didn't make sense, just on the money level. But then deeper than that, if you look at the statistics related to the health and safety of Job Corps is the most dangerous place to get in education in the United States of America, where they have 59.7 instances of violence per 1,000, which is like off the chain. And so what I think that the federal government is doing is they're going to retool this program, because everybody obviously sees how this works. However, because they were spending a lot of money and it wasn't getting a high return, on top of the fact that it was all type of fighting and raping and stabbing and all kind of stuff going on in these spaces, something has to give. We cannot continue to let this model continue. So hopefully they are just doing this to retool the program and then get it back going. But spending $155,000 for a $17,000 job is not good. There's not a good return on investment. But like I said, I just know my president. I don't know him well, but I know him well enough to know that he's just not going to leave the kids out there dangling in the wind. Because we got Job Corps in Chicago. I'm sure it's Job Corps out there in Jersey, in Ohio, where you are. Every state has this, but we cannot allow a model of failure to proliferate, especially on the taxpayer dime. So hopefully the Department of Labor is going to retool this, and it'll be back up in about 6 months.
So you're saying that with these Job Corps, it's a lot of fighting or in-house violence that's going on. And on top of that, when they do graduate, these kids are only starting off $17,000 annually.
Yes, ma'am. That's what the statistics say. I'm just quoting the statistics because I pay attention to this. I'm also an educator, you know that. And I pay attention to the babies because I love them a lot. The Job Corps age group is for 16 to 24. So like I have a cousin who went to Job Corps here in Chicago, and she got put out for fighting. The same reason she got put out of Chicago public schools, for fighting. So the people who are going to Job Corps typically are coming from a dysfunctional situation and bringing that dysfunction to Job Corps, and Job Corps did not have the capabilities to help those children beyond giving them their basic skills to go out and work. That's it. I mean, it's emotional because the children had to leave. Now, I do think it's bogus that the Department of Labor just arbitrarily shut it down and told them everybody go home today, right now. That's wrong. However, I just really feel positive about them retooling this entire program and rolling it out back to the public, especially because, again, the only thing that they want to talk to my Donnie about when it comes to the Negro is getting out of prison, getting out of prison, getting out of prison, and what we gonna do with the felons. So now they can couch that in their conversation and say, we can prevent this if we retool this program. Like I see someone in the comments say the one in New York was bad too. All of the Job Corps were bad. These were bad spaces. And people want to make it seem like the kids were coming out of there doing coding and welding, making $80,000 jobs. No. That was the fight club up in there. People don't want to do right in high school, your mama send you to Job Corps. You get in trouble with your probation officer, you go in the Job Corps. You running away, you go in the Job Corps. This was not a space for children who just needed a little more push. No. It's also important to state that the Department of Labor is not responsible for providing shelter for people between the ages of 16 to 24, because people are like, oh, this is just going to make the children homeless. And that is very sad. I don't want any child to be homeless. But at the same time, it is not up for to the federal government through the Department of Labor to provide them with that shelter. So we got to retool the program to make sure that our rate of return is worth what we're investing in it. And $155,000 per child is ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous for what they're getting out of there. It costs more to go to Job Corps than it does to go to the Northern Illinois University and get a bachelor's degree. How that work, Dana?
Well, let me play this clip here.
It's kind of sad they shutting everything down because I ain't got my education. I ain't got my license. I came back here to get my life together, and it's just confusing me how they shut it down.
I needed my high school diploma, all type of stuff. So, but I was working towards that so I can do my CDL because that was my #1 goal.
A lot of people in here don't got nowhere to go. A lot of people in here trying to change their life around, trying to get a house, trying to get a trade, trying to go to the union, trying to build money up so they can have a better life. Because some people come from
hurting more than you helping. The money is not the issue right now.
At Genesee Job Corps Center, 147 students were focused on building careers. Now, they're just trying to figure out what's next.
So again, we feel sorry for them young brothers. We feel so sorry for them. But at the end of the day, it was ratchet in Job Corps. And my Donnie sat down and said, why are we paying all this money for this? It does not make any sense. We can make a junior college. For example, we have something here in Illinois called Lincoln Challenge, which is very similar to Job Corps, but it's executed by the state of Illinois. So that shows you that the states can run this themselves. But Lincoln Challenge is a military-based program for people between the ages of 16 and 24. So when you come out of there, yes, you come with your GED and your high school diploma, but you also come out of there with a high level of discipline because this is a military institution. So maybe they're going to do the same thing with Job Corps. Maybe they're going to make Job Corps and push that back on the states and then let the states craft it how they want it to be. But when the federal government through the Department of Labor was managing it, it was totally mismanaged. The children were not learning and they were spending way too much money for it to be a fight club. I'm telling you, Dana, I don't know if you know anybody that went to Job Corps, but ask them what it's like in Job Corps. It is not what you think it is.
So I'm gonna say this, with this particular Job Corps shutting down, or any other Job Corps that's shut down in a community or in a city, I think the churches should step in. There's a lot of mega churches, mid-sized churches that bring in a whole lot of money. They have access to a whole lot of grants, to a whole lot of funding. So how about we privatize the Job Corps and, like you said, restructure it and privatize it in the community.
But ain't it a division between
No, girl, mute your fucking phone. I swear to God, you better get fucking headphones or we're not doing this. I'm sorry. That shit sound real fucking tacky. Stop. And I'm trying to have fucking patience because I told you, asked you earlier,
you got it. I can't help that they broke Dana.
I don't give a shit. I don't care. It's fucking Dollar General. No, why are you?
No. It wasn't Dollar General. What
I don't give a shit. It wasn't an Apple. It wasn't an Apple one. Just mute up, because the shit just sound fucking horrible. So I just think that it needs to be privatized within the community, and I think the churches need to step in and help. This is the time for communities to start being independent and get these private fundings from these venture capitalist corporations to come in and invest, and put their money into it. So if you restructure it, I believe that you will have more men mentors, better security to handle any type of violence of fighting, better curriculum, and a actual career path structure to where you're not just making $17,000, but you could be making $25 an hour, or at least coming out with a trade where you could make $60K annually with benefits. So, okay, they took it away, but the community needs to come together and restructure something. And I think the churches should help.
I totally disagree. There is a division between church and state, and it's not up to the church to step in to do the role of the state. Here in Illinois, Lincoln Challenge is ran by the Illinois State Board of Education. So it can be ran by the Michigan State Board of Education, New York State Board of Education. They are about to take all of this Department of Education money and push it back to the states, and the states can make it what they want it to be. The federal government does not have the duty to educate the people. The states have the duty to educate the people, and that's what the Department of Labor is saying. Nothing more, nothing less. They are standing on the Constitution. See, this is the thing too, Dana. Our people are so ignorant, but so loudly emotional that it's like, whoa, Lord, they closed Job Corps. But you don't know that this whole thing was a waste of taxpayer funds and that it was operating in violation of the U.S. Constitution, or the fact that the children who got put out of the public schools get pushed to Job Corps with no training. You understand? Somebody said, what certifications do you get from Job Corps? Maybe a Microsoft Office certification. Maybe you might get a bookkeeping certification. They ain't teaching them how to code. They ain't teaching them how to weld. They're not giving them pharmacy technician degrees or certificates. That's what I'm saying. Like, we got to get out of our feelings, but it is not the duty of the church or any private entity to educate America's children. That responsibility is paid for through the property taxes in the various municipalities and should be executed by the state government. Nothing more, nothing less. And if the people who are saying, oh, the Job Corps is so bad, we don't know what to do, we don't know where to go, that shows you that their state Department of Education has failed them, because they're the ones who are supposed to have the resources to solve those issues.
Great point. And this is the time for the people in that community, in that city, in that county, in that state to go to these state assemblies, to your state senators, to your local representative where you live at in the state, and say, hello, what do you want to do about it? Because the feds, they're wiping their hands, so it's up to you. They're giving it, throwing it back to the state. So you're absolutely right. But I am going to still, the churches need to be advocating for this as well. The churches, because they have open door policies with these politicians. So okay, they don't have to privatize it, but you could call up that state senator, that state assembly, and say, hey, we need to address this. So all hands should just be on deck. That's what I'm saying. All hands need to be on deck on a state level. The feds washing their hands. Okay, fine. You didn't like him anyway in a blue state. So you handle it, you deal with it. But the people need to make sure that their state representatives are enforcing a new policy or a better policy or a solution when it comes to this Job Corps. So yeah. That's it. I swear for God, P. Ray, if you don't have that them headsets next week, girl, I will not be seeing you up here, because I'm not, honey.
I got you. I'm gonna buy 2 pairs.
And it's not me. It's like
I know. This whole time you've been cussing me out. I didn't cuss back out at you because I know I'm in the wrong. Okay?
I'm not
cussing
you out.
I feel the shame that you're trying to put on me. I feel it.
Cause you could have easily went to anywhere besides some cheap shit and got, a matter of fact, like at CVS or Walgreens, when they had them headphones behind the counter, they be good.
Dana, you don't hear me. They broke. Do you hear me? Like physically broke. It was me. I was running too fast and it broke. I said, I gotta come on, get on this show. I could have took some time and went to the Walmart and got one. Yeah. But I'm trying to be on time for us, because I wanted to be on white people time tonight for you, which is why we started on time.
Well, you need to buy 2 next time. So, because I can't, the audio, I can't. It's
so I understand.
Anyway, but no, thank you, P. Ray. Appreciate you coming on.
You know I love you.
And I'll talk to you later.
See y'all.
Yeah, honey, I can't take all that. I can't. Yes, Kimmy D. Yes, exactly. Reset is needed. Exactly what I voted for. Put the trades back in the school. Yes, but then also we need men in the schools, because these kids are fighting too much. Yeah. And I wasn't really harping on PRA like that. I just want to let people know, but I do lives to chop it up for uploads. That's how I do my uploads by way of my lives. And I think what I'm gonna start doing, just a little FYI, I'm playing around with a lot of stuff. I'm playing around with thumbnails, with my intros. Eventually I'm going to be playing around with times I go live. So I'm gonna try to go live during the afternoon just to see which one works better. So I'm just taking this first week in June to play around with a lot of stuff, to do some tweaking and to really bring my own personal brand into the into the to the fold, because you guys always see me with the judge, and that's great, but I want to start bringing my own individualized self, to the forefront. That's the word. So yeah, so I do these lives, chop them up, and I upload them on my other channel, The Real Judge Joe Brown 23. And then some of them I upload here. So thank you to P Ray. But that's really why I get on her about, and anybody else, about the headphones. It's very, very important that the audio is clear, and headphones help with that. So yeah, but love P Ray to pieces. And real quick, Rapping Magazine, you have to lose that hat. Come on, Dana. No, baby. Why would I get rid of my hat? First of all, I look good in my cowboy hat. This is not going anywhere. Cowboy Carter is still on tour. After her tour, I'm still going to be rocking the cowboy hat. Matter of fact, I need to buy at least 2 new ones because I'm behind and collecting cowboy hats. So this is my Stetson. This is my favorite, and I love Stetson because it has a sloop here. The second is Bailey's because I like high quality shit. So no, baby, I don't got to lose anything repping. Thank you, but no thank you. The hat stays. Yes, it does. Even long after Cowboy Carter, the hat is staying. This ain't going nowhere. This is part of the brand. Yeah. So anyway, guys, listen, thank you. You need help with the shorts, let me know. Yes, Trevor, yes, I do. But Trevor, you always working. I do need help with shorts. So I will send you an email on the back end, Trevor. Thank you. I've been trying to get you to come on, but you always busy, and that's fine. Always working. Gotta work. But thank you guys. Listen, thank you to Walter and Stan again for the lovely, lovely cash apps. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please share, please like, and make sure you guys comment below on the show. And I will see you in the next video. Bye. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, RICO. Thank you. Thank you, love. Yes. All right, guys. And I'll see you on Friday with the panel, because I'm going back to doing the panels on Friday. So I will see you live Friday on the Friday night panels. All right, guys. Have a wonderful week. What I'm doing here, honey. Oh no, not this. It was this. What am I doing? Jesus. All right. Bye.